Hey there, welcome to Carcassonne with Utze. It's the last second place match, the last qualification match of this season's Carcassonne Champions League. It's Q1 Group D, DrCaiHan 2020 versus pavelbrin. The Doctor lost surprisingly against the Vega Rhine, and Pavel was able to march through the lower rounds so far. We'll see. One of these two will get the last ticket to the main stage. Let's take a quick look at Pavel's stats, and looks like they don't load. Here we go. So Master last year, this year some peaks over 700, but also about with the 500 threshold at the bottom of all these valleys here. And then there is the good doctor became master in 2021 and had quite a few 700 peaks as well. Long times with no games. Currently rated about 700, at least for the last 2 or 3 months. So let's see, they have already started. My favorite would be the Chinese player today, but we'll see. So good news for Pavel, then he's the starting player at least in the first game, and considering they are playing a regular game with slow time, he would be the starting player in the decisive third game as well. So definitely a slight advantage for the Ukrainians so far. Or it would be a slight advantage for the Ukrainian in the end, rather. Starts with the Road Monastery, and the good doctor takes, of course, the open city cap. Pavel should just take the 3 points for the road here. There will be chances to attack a possible yellow city later on, at least in many, or rather most cases. Looks like he's thinking a long time about this rather simple decision, and in the end opts for the standard approach, just taking 3 points in hand. Yellow quite likely will just self-invade. And Pavel might not attack here, instead taking a new city, restricting yellow city over here, hoping to kill one of these squares, and with this 2 yellow meeples might be on his agenda, but we'll see which option he chooses. Definitely looks like he's taking his time for each and every move, even if there aren't really that many options. Yellow restricts over here. 1 dagger already gone, so 2 left for blue. It'd be nice for them to get one, of course, not just for liberating this monk here, but also, of course, taking a 4-point city next to it. Yellow doesn't liberate this city. They rather hope to get this one here closed, and therefore even use the precious rose there. I mean, why not? If blue would get the dagger to snatch the city, at least that would result in an open 4-point road for quite likely yellow to take. Extender isn't ideal in this case, but let's see. He goes for the kill here. Blue could indirectly defend, which might make sense in this case, especially if they were to later on restrict yellow's city to a road Dorito. So in that case, they take away road Doritos from the tiles to kill the square, and they opt for the indirect approach here. Also going to harass yellow's small city on the right side as well. Yeah, we'll see. They could just close their city on the left side, but I think playing against yellow's big city up top should be the idea here. Maybe this one, hoping to later stab a road in there, could be a good approach, but instead they just opt to get their meeple back. I'm not the biggest fan of this approach, as it's usually quite valuable to have an open city cap just in case you get a twin cap or an extender, and when there are still 4 left, so 1 extender, 1 twin cap on the board, usually it's quite a good idea to have an open city cap. Interestingly enough, yellow doesn't opt to kill blue's monastery. They could have, and in that case could have even taken the city with 2 daggers still left, even if both this city and the one on the right side could be restricted to the same dagger. Instead, they just protected their city over here, hoping to get multiple road Doritos, as their city up top was likely to be restricted to a road Dorito, and that immediately happened by blue stubbing this road into the city bar. Yellow got first road Dorito here, blue with the next one, protecting their threatened monastery square, taking the city, hoping to later get the dagger, claim 4 points for the city. Elongate the road and maybe liberate the monk as well, but this would depend on this square here. So quite a lot of rather critical tiles out there, and I didn't even talk about this city, which someone might claim later on. My money would be on yellow to do this because they have the luxury of meeples in hand, or quite a lot of meeples in hand, but they don't go for this. They rather restrict blue's road. Yeah, why not? This takes away, or rather complicates one option for blue. That would be killing yellow city on the right side, but in this case here, anything placed over here would endanger the continuation of blue's road on the right side. Yellow protects the city on the left, still 2 starting tiles and 2 roses left. So as long as there's no city part over here, they'd have at least 2 pieces to close the city. Quite likely they'll indirectly protect, and they do, but blue just will kill this, winning a mini battle with at least the 3 points over here. So 6-3 for now, but it's quite likely that blue's ruin there will be bigger later on. Yellow breaks blue's loop road up top, but blue immediately gets a crossroad. Now places the first farmer, of course, still with the hope of drawing 1 dagger to score road points, city points, farm points, and a monastery point. So 1 tile, improving 4 features, or scoring 4 points for 4 features. That's definitely would be a nice accomplishment. For now, the farm grew by this city here, which was just close by yellow. Of course, they do this penultimate road Dorito, sadly for them, without a shield. But we'll see. Blue snatched a road Dorito as well with a shield, so that this 50-50 flip alone was a flip for 3 points, basically. We'll see. For now, blue is a good lead, even though they didn't even claim or didn't even complete any features, but this city and their 3-point road so far. But the field up top for 6, the monasteries, the road, plus the ruin score quite a lot of points. In the end, though, with only 1 meeple in hand, they need to still score a lot more points than they've banked until now. Yellow goes for a restriction over here. Would have loved to add a farmer to attack blue's field, but blue prevented this option by dumping the the litter there. Yeah. Yellow opted for this monastery when they also could have restricted this city to the same dagger that blue already needed for their monastery and road. So not a huge fan of this move, especially because could have restricted 2 of blue's meeples, and also this monastery would have protected this city. So with more meeples in hand than blue, something like this here would have been very juicy for yellow. Then later closing this city and taking a field would have been nice options to come back in this game, but they went for this. You tell me if that really is the upside you need in this game. I don't think so. Yeah, maybe this here could be a consideration for yellow now. This would open up the same option for the middle city as well. Yeah, it's volatile, but when you're at 36-64, I think you need to go for moves like that. Blue will just liberate the monastery, get another meeple back, and later on quite likely add a second farmer to their farm on the right side. And just go from there, just claim a few points here or there, and they should be more or less sales move to the end of this game. Best chance for yellow quite likely would be to take the city in the middle and a secondary field there. For now, at least they restrict this monastery completion to the one and only dagger left there. And will they claim the city now or just take a few points? I think claiming the city might just be the best idea here, hoping that blue won't be able to claim the field. Okay, they even claim the field. Okay, why not? So city's completion is basically for yellow somewhere around 47%, 46%, or maybe a tad less with, what was it, 24, 25 tiles remaining. Yep, and it goes to blue, and that's why I didn't like this this field here. Was fairly restricted, so curve over here, other road pieces on the left, curve over there. In that case, why not snatch the city and just hope to outdraw your opponent? Possibly closing this and even meepling the field at the same time, else you might just get a curve before they do to claim the field, or possibly even pad your monastery on the left side. This way, banking on drawing the vanilla before blue. I think they would have had better chances if they'd had claimed the city first and hoped to get on the field before blue, because then at least they would have had the 3 vanillas left to claim the field, which blue quite likely wouldn't have used to do that. So bottom line, blue will quite likely win this one unless yellow would somehow manufacture a takeover of blue's field on the right side. So possibly closing this one here, adding a farmer here, maybe, or over here to attack there, maybe even here. But overall, at -32, even a takeover of this 15-point field isn't enough for yellow. So they need more than that. There's a 5-point road on the left side, which blue quite likely will claim now. I mean, why not? Yeah, sure, they could protect their field, but actually they don't need to. Just claiming the 5 points might be totally fine. The other alternative, of course, and that's quite likely what blue is thinking about, would be to add another farmer just to keep this field safe and take away Yellow's best option to attack the field. By the way, this orientation should be it, to have both options. So using a curve here to connect all the road monasteries and vanillas at the bottom. Of course, they'd only connect if it would be necessary. But in the end, as I said, I don't see why they shouldn't take the 5 points on the left side. Doesn't really matter. But they go for the safe route, which is fine, of course. So this here limits yellow's options severely. They could still attack the field here, but they need to outdraw blue, getting basically all pieces to connect blue's secondary field with the one in the middle. And it's a tough task. And even if they would, I mean, they are still at -34. So this city is dead. There aren't enough city plus road pieces left. Blue just secured the field for good. And this here is definitely game over. Yeah, the good daughter thinks about it, what to do here, but there is nothing. Yeah, sure, he could still go for, I don't know, an attack like this here, hoping to connect here with the road monastery, but it doesn't matter. This is self-kill, but doesn't matter. Yeah, so it boils down to this possible restriction here, which yellow didn't go for. And then the decision about the city in the middle when yellow claimed the field and not the city. Sure, blue got one dagger, so they could have closed this city instead of the one in the middle, but they might not have, because this city here is on their field. It's 4 points, it's extending the road. And then there would still be a blue meeple on the road. There would still be a blue meeple on the city. There might also still be a yellow meeple on the monastery, but that's the case up top as well. So yeah, I'm still not a fan of that monastery. And also not a fan of this farmer, of course. That's Carcassonne sometimes. You approach a branch in the road and you have to go either left or right. And whichever way you take, it might be the wrong one. Yeah, I'm not sure it's really necessary to think about whether to take the 8-point monastery or not. I mean, what's the problem? I don't see it. Maybe it's just playing mind games. We'll see. Yeah, not really precise moves in the end. But again, it doesn't matter. So this cap here on blue's field, definitely not ideal, but at this point in time, at this score, who cares? Okay, looks like a 2-minute break, at least asked for by Pavel, and the doctor even would like to extend this to 3. Well, then let's take a closer look at their march through these rounds here. So Pavel in the beginning lost versus Townsend 17. I think that's Edgar, but was later able to exact revenge here, winning in the lower final. I think this one wasn't streamed anywhere, but I'm not sure. And have I witnessed this one? I don't know, actually. So both were able to beat Terran PL. At least that's the world champion, so good on them. And I wish someone had streamed this one. Can't remember if I had a look at the replays, because Vega Orion definitely wasn't my favorite in this match. So let's see if they created the second game already. They haven't. Yeah, not sure what's up with the break, but let's just wait for them. Hey, Juan. Yeah, still nothing. Then let's take a quick look at the situations I talked about earlier. That's a few moves too far. Okay, this here actually did look okay for yellow. But then, again, as I've said, I would have loved this monastery here, just to restrict this square to the same tile blue already needed for this road. So getting the road meeple back, at least at best, would have been a 25% shot, and in some cases you might just be able to kill this city later on. Also, it would have taken away some options to restrict your city on the right side. So yeah, definitely would have been a lovely monastery. I mean, I wouldn't call this position up top a mistake. Basically, it's more or less the same idea there, hoping to restrict the monastery completion square to the same dagger that's already needed over here, and possibly hoping to, I don't know, maybe just use a vanilla like this here to restrict this as well. And in that case, you would have 3 restricted squares to the same 2 daggers. But we all saw how it turned out. Yeah, still no second game. And then a few moves later on, after blue was able to close this city, yeah, yellow could have even used this curve here to secure the field if they really wanted to go for it. And not get into the situation where they would have to decide whether to take the... Just a moment, please. So yellow could have prevented a situation where they need to choose either farmer or a city meeple there. Still no second game, okay. But they didn't. Yeah, could have used this trade possibly over here as well to create a monastery square and prepare the field, but this is the better idea. At least there would have been an immediate kill here with the starting tile. Actually, I wonder why blue didn't take the field. No, I don't wonder, because they rather wanted to score the immediate 4 points. Yeah, sure. So now yellow's monastery, all fine by blue here. Still not starting the second. Yeah, and it's here. I mean, again, there aren't really that many pieces for blue to immediately snatch the field. So for one, there are straights and crossroads on the left side, but giving back a point to your opponent, I don't know. And then curves and curvies or crossroads on the top left. So basically half the deck, a tad more than half the deck, for blue to immediately claim the field. So yeah, actually hoping to draw a vanilla before your opponent might have had the better odds. So it might have been the better move by yellow indeed, but if so, then it would have been only slightly. So here we go. Second game underway. Looks like I don't know what Pavel is doing. I mean, any other move than this one? I hope he doesn't consider anything else. Not sure why he wastes time on the clock. Because, I mean, the increment is 35, 36 seconds, something like that. So if you go down below 2 minutes, 10 seconds, you are in most cases just wasting time. You might need for one of your next moves. So blue restricts yellow's road. Yellow restricts this square here, and of course blue's road. Blue now needs a dagger. Don't get me wrong, this here is totally fine. In case yellow gets a city plus road, at least you get the chance to possibly create a loop road or a longer road even in some cases. So that is the most efficient move there. Just in this case, it looks like it won't work out for blue. Yellow sure hopes to kill this restricted square by adding anything up top except for a quadruple crossroad. They don't even go for this loop with 5 in hand. Yeah, sure, you have this road project and you need a curve on the left side as well, but leaving this for your opponent to take might not be the ideal approach nonetheless. Especially in a case where a completed loop by blue could endanger your road on the left side. So I'd rather take this, close the one on the left, and then the loop possibly. And the blocking option wasn't really there because the straight was placed after yellow's curve. Interesting choice by them. Self-restricting into a road that's already dead. Not sure what's the problem with just taking the city at the bottom. If blue attacks it or restricts it, they'd restrict their city as well. If they'd attack it from the left side, they'd at least give you 1 or 2 road points. So I don't see why it was necessary to claim this one. Yeah, sure, in some cases, road burrito, for example, it would be annoying. But I mean, is this really problematic? Not sure. Yeah, Pavel restricts this, of course. But there are still all 3 daggers left. The doctor claims the monastery up top. Totally fine, especially next to this city here. Yeah, tough to deal with this situation. Sure, they could indirectly defend, but first off, it's a shoddy defense. Every straight-ish piece over here would immediately kill their city. And also, this would endanger their monastery. And they really can't leave this out there without a meeple as well. So way better move at the bottom. And Pavel has to decide now whether to kill this. And I'd say yes. Yeah, sure, it's a valuable tile. You could use it somewhere else. For example, closing your road, possibly claiming the field. But a dead meeple is a dead meeple, and at least now you've avenged your road meeple. Both score 2 points. That's totally fine for blue, and a way better outcome than was expected after this curve move here. And because such an outcome wasn't that unlikely, I still not a fan of yellow's vanilla move there. Yeah, finally they get one of their meeples back, pressuring blue's road, but it doesn't really matter. Blue will defend immediately. The question is whether to claim this city or not. One splitter is gone, but this here, even if it might not be closed in the end, could be a very profitable ruin. Therefore, it's completely fine to snatch it. I mean, it might even be mandatory. So it's more or less the same situation we had in the first game. Blue has almost all their meeples invested. Also on monasteries, like in the first game. And yellow has more enhance, is likely to have at least in the midterm here the temporary meeple majority. This bottom city by blue is quite iffy, although there are still 2 starting tiles left, 2 horses left, and enough daggers as well. So it's not really easy to severely restrict this. So there's not even the necessity to defend this for now. Whoa, blue doesn't mind a restriction. There are still 3 daggers left. And again, 2 starting tiles and 1 rose. 2 already in play. No, the third one is right there. So roses are gone. So best limitation would be a road from the left side to the 2 starting tiles, and then the same limitation over here. Yellow for now doesn't care. They just score points, hoping to create possibly juicy field there, maybe. Yeah. Blue takes the field now. Why not? This extends all the way to the left side, but over here. This here, of course, is dead. Also a third possible city on it, and this here might get closed as well. And at least if blue would be able to close their most prominent feature on the board for now, which is the city on the left, yellow would get 3 points compensation for this farmer. So overall, this looks like yellow has the upper hand here. They have a slight lead. And they definitely have more meeples in hand, but this could turn quite quickly. Blue just needs to close one of their cities, possibly this as well. Get monasteries over here to stack even more, but the trouble with getting a monastery here would be endangering their city any more than it is. And yellow might just do something about this situation by attacking the city possibly even now. Later, hoping to claim this field here for at least 6, 9, maybe 12 points in the end. But they rather use a simple approach, claiming a 4-point city, adding another 3 points to their field. Yeah, and here we are. That's the monastery situation, and it ain't easy. Just because of these twin caps used on the left side of the city instead of over here. But of course, placing them there would have endangered this monastery square. But at least you would have a clear-cut situation where you know what to go and hope for. This year, it's iffy. It's always the same with diagonally adjacent squares where you need to fill both. It's seldomly easy to fill both without endangering anything. So at least blue indirectly protected their city at the bottom. They could have also created another monastery square or improved their monastery square up top. But at this point, with minus 13 on the scoreboard, yeah, it looks like they need their big features. And this year at 7 points for now, if closed worth 18 points, is just their best hope for now. So I wouldn't even mind yellow scoring 2 points and extending blue's city, having options to attack this, to restrict or kill the square. Yeah, this is totally fine as well. Just preventing blue from closing the city on the left. Yeah, that's even way better than this suggestion. Because both splitters are gone. And this simple move here takes away any chance for blue to close the city with a cap and might make it unlikely that this city will be closed at all. The only downside would be blue possibly being able to take this city over and complete it. But for now, they don't have the firepower to go for an option like this. Yeah, yellow dumps the quad city there, further endangering a blue city. They would love to get a horse to kill this one, but they'd also place a host of other tiles there just to prevent blue from closing this on their own. So this more or less looks like it should be a rather easy win in the end for yellow, unless blue were to hit all their outs. Yeah, yellow goes for the restriction, blue immediately defends. This time they didn't even think a long time about this. Yeah, looks like yellow has to restrict this now to the 2 remaining starting tiles. If they don't, then blue would have not just the 2 starting tiles, but also the 3 right-handed daggers to immediately close the city. Question would be whether you need to meeple the field, and I'd say no. Even if your opponent closes this, they could only take a 3-point field, and they quite likely won't, with only 2 meeples remaining. So, mistake by me, of course. If you place the curve there, it's a 6-point field. But would blue really claim a 6-point field? They might, if they had a curve or road monastery forehand. And the problem of not claiming this here would have been exactly this connection up top. Yeah, so looks like this farmer was a must after all. Because just consider no yellow farmer there, but a blue one upon closure of the city. This would immediately attack the field on the right side and give blue a clear path to overcome the scoreboard deficit by taking over a juicy united field. So now we have these 2 critical tiles here. Road monasteries, possibly curves, are critical as well. Yeah, Kaika, I know. Hi, by the way. That's why I said, imagine this farmer not being here and then a blue farmer there. Reasoning that this here was a must. Just to protect against a hypothetical field takeover by blue. Yeah, or I might have misspoken, which would result in the same. So, is there anything else for blue? Not really, right? They have to get the road monastery here. Oh, and this won't work anymore, as yellow just kills this, of course. So they are down 17. Closing the city in the middle would result in 10 points to blue, but 6 points to yellow's farmers. So just a net 4-point move. Oof. Looking grim here. But there's a chance. I mean, there's this road on the left side. Could be worth 7 points. Nah. I don't like this move by yellow at all. Now that they don't have the meeple majority, there is no reason at all to go here. Yeah, sure, you could hope to get meeples back, but at what cost? There are 2 options to attack the city, take this over. So clear mistake by yellow. In a case like this, just extend your side of the city/ruin. Prevent at all costs that your opponent gets a chance to attack and take over a united city. Well, looks like they might get away with this. But why even go for this connection? Doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, Napalm, Nah. I think this is too antsy. Because just taking over a ruin, yeah, sure, it's worth 7, possibly 8 points, 9 points. But you'd only claim the 6 points from yellow, and that's not enough when you are 13 down. Maybe. I mean, there were still options to attack with a cap. There were still, or are still, Doritos out there, so maybe just take away this cap from yellow's field and hope to draw one later to attack and take over the city. Might have been the approach with more upside. Yeah. Yeah, pretty sure that this here? Yeah, why not? Creating an option to attack here. Maybe this way, but yeah, maybe even this way due to the 2 road monasteries still out there. Although I don't see why blue choose this option instead of this one, which has a protected connection with tempo, claiming a 4-point city while also connecting to yellow's field, which would also then open up the route for more farmers or another farmer from the top left, while adding something to your possible city as well. While this here could be restricted from the top, which wouldn't be the case for this square. Yellow claimed a road monastery on the right side. They have 2 possible moves now. This here doesn't do a lot because blue was still likely to equalize the field. So this here was the move and they chose it. Yeah, so in the end, yellow will win this one. And frankly, I think it's totally okay. None of these 2 really convinced me in this game. So they were quite, for this level, a lot of moves. I don't concur. Boy, 5 minutes rest? Yeah, but no more. I mean, it's a live game after all, so we are an hour in, 2 games played. So let's take a look at the replay to find a few critical situations. If somebody of you notices these 2 starting, just let me know. I'll refresh regularly. Oh yeah, we could even start earlier, right? even earlier. So yeah, again, yellow didn't claim this curve. Not sure why not. Yeah, maybe they didn't want to get this restricted. Possibly they feared something like a blue road here, possibly restricting two of yellow's roads. Yeah, I get it, but come on, that's rather timid. So now, first critical situation, yellow getting this vanilla, and I still don't see the need to claim this city here. I mean, if it were a shielded Dorito, we could talk about this, sure. But in this case, come on, go for the points. And if blue lucks into a city cap with a road on the left side, it's a 6-point city for now. If that gets closed, closing this one up top would also possibly endanger the road and vice versa. So it's not a big threat. I don't see the need for dealing with this immediately. So yeah, we are at 56 tiles remaining and still already 2 moves by yellow, which I didn't like. Shouldn't happen that early on. I think I didn't said anything about this monastery. Yeah, that's definitely a fine one. It's a good option, rather likely to get completed. Also protecting your road. Why not? You can't really do anything about it for now. Yeah, good protection, indirect one, but also exerting pressure on Blue City. I think this was then Blue limiting this. Yeah, sure, all fine. And then I think we can skip a few moves ahead. Oh yeah, this I didn't say anything about. Nice move. Definitely a very nice move. Creating a 6-point loop, also giving yourself a chance to dump a farmer somewhere. Yep, definitely a good one. Especially if other options are more or less non-existent, at least no good ones. We could talk about this Dorito, which gives an immediate attacking option. I mean, again, could have gone for this, hoping to get a triple city later. Sure, there would be the same attacking option available, but at least you wouldn't need to care about 3 meeples, more or less hinging on one square. So this here resolves the city part of this equation, and then you could care about securing this, so you could later on place a monastery there, which is not the case if both these squares are open. Yeah, again, yellow leaving a 2-point stub out there for anyone to claim with 4 meeples in hand. When your opponent needs quick points anyway, why risk it? And then you don't even claim the 3 points? I I mean, there are still a lot of curves out there. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan also of this one. Again, I'd rather resolve at least one of my problems up top, giving me the chance to later claim a monastery here. Yeah, sure, in some cases, an obstruction from the left might be incoming. But at least I would get one chance to protect, possibly even create a good chance of claiming a city or monastery later there. Let's skip ahead. So this is after yellow's farmer, totally fine. Yeah, blue. Yeah, we could call this chickening out, but when there's only one dagger left, would you really bank your game on drawing the dagger because a restriction by yellow would be very likely? But I mean, why not actually? You have a city on the left, you have a city at the bottom, you have this monastery which could be liberated rather easily. And in many cases, yellow wouldn't be able to restrict this square. They could attack it, but well, that's the cost of adding a very juicy monastery. And why not actually? I mean, at this point, blue was down by quite a lot. Sure, it's the last meeple, but at some point in the game, you have to risk something if you're down. Still haven't started the third game. When did this one end? Here we go. That's more than 5 minutes, right? Yeah, maybe there needs to be a rule regarding breaks as well. I wouldn't have expected this to be necessary, but come on. Yeah, Pavel, just try to equalize the road maybe. Going over here, adding a meeple of your own, and you could use any curvy here. Not ideal in a case anyone claims this cap, which yellow will now do. Any road from the top, of course, would restrict this connection, and one of the squares next to your monastery, but it is what it is. In many cases, you just get the curve to connect there. And would have executed an effective combination. Yeah. The good doctor thinking about whether to take this or this one. And it depends, more or less philosophy at this point. This here would give blue the chance to possibly attack the city while also going for monastery completion. Also, this attack was possible. But the upside of a city on the right side would have been to restrict this monastery square, possibly some cases even threatening a kill of monastery and city there. In comparison to the downsides of this one on the right, I would have still gone for this, for the, I'd call it more aggressive approach. So now the yellow meeples threaten to take over the road, might now protect the city, also taking away options to restrict this to a crossroad. They don't. Well, they go for the starting tile restriction there and should claim the city, yes, even if a curve from the top would be rather devastating, endangering two of your cities at the same time. But if you don't claim this, it's more likely that your opponent would, even if they already have 3 cities. What would blue do with a field Dorito? Well, definitely not extend one of their cities. So they'd claim this one in a heartbeat. And yellow has 4 meeples in hand, so I don't get the stinginess here. And I don't like it at all. Yeah. Yeah, why not? That's not the worst option, at least. Restricting road completions, possibly hoping to further restrict this from the right side with any road part to the 2 remaining roses, as yellow just used one on the left. The problem being this square, possibly a lost mini battle once this gets killed, or severely restricted at least, then completing your right monastery would be delayed by quite a lot. Third starting tile, only 1 left for blue. For now, yellow doesn't really need to care about this square, as there are still 3 daggers left, plus 3 vanillas. So any limitation from the top would still give yellow at least 3 pieces to close their city. Therefore, maybe just take care that a dagger would fit there, but of course the better option would be to connect both cities and give you 5 outs to close the road and take a huge city / possible ruin. But yellow opts to keep these 2 cities separate. I really don't see the need. It's quite likely that these 2 will stay there for a long time, if not until the end of the game, due to only 1 starting tile left. So it's very likely that yellow would have the meeple majority in the long run. Yeah, they go for the kill, hope to draw another road piece before blue gets to defend. And in many cases, blue would even need to defend in such a way that they would limit their city on the bottom side as well. but blue can't. Yellow doesn't go for the kill, rather takes their meeples home, while also improving the chances of closing their top city by quite a lot. So the most potent restriction by blue would be a road piece from the top, restricting yellow city to the 2 remaining daggers, as that the same daggers yellow needed to close the road. So only 2 remaining. But they get one, will claim the field as well. At least they should. They have enough meeples in hand. In the meantime, blue successfully protected their city at the bottom. So now they need to draw the one starting tile and one of 2 roses to claim this one. And not just claim the city, but also a set of small roads on top. And if they manage to get both, they definitely still be in this game, which they actually are. A bit surprising to me. But in the long run, again, the problem of having enough meeples to counter yellow's attack might hurt blue if they don't get these 2 back. Nobody so far has claimed the city on the left, because there weren't good options except for possibly this one here, which blue of course used to threaten this connection square, as there is no cow left and of course no quad city. So any city or field part from the right side would immediately kill the connection. Yellow indirectly protects, should now directly protect. They don't. They rather hope to restrict blue city up top, quite likely to the same starting tile that blue needs at the bottom as well. But blue immediately gets a defense there. Yeah, they are still in the increment time, let's call it. So between 2 minutes 10 and 2 minutes, what is it, 49 even? So yeah, sure, thinking about this, checking, counting pieces that are still left. Why not use the time? That's a good approach, not wasting the increment. Yeah, sadly blue can't defend now. They need a road piece from the bottom. But they at least take away yellow's option of closing this city immediately. Yellow claims 4 points, which is good, but restricting this blocking square against blue city isn't good. So a double-edged sword for them. Also, this here would or could give a 4-point loop road to blue once they hit one of the 2 remaining roses. So definitely not ideal for yellow, but it would have been worse if blue were able to claim this with a dagger, but there's only 1 dagger left. And the other city plus road pieces city plus road caps, blue quite likely would use here. Yeah. Still nothing changed about the situation on the right side. So yellow had multiple chances to protect this, but they just hope to looks like they just hope to outdraw blue. And now, of course, this loop road or possible loop road is an incentive for blue to add curves there instead of going for the kill on the right side. Yellow builds up a possible 8-point road on the left, which blue uses to attack yellow's field and at least prevents yellow from claiming the road and the 9-point field. But frankly, at a cost of 3 additional points to blue's farmer, claiming the 7-pointer when there are still a lot of road ends out there might be okay. They could also take away protection options for blue at the bottom at the cost of leaving only one connection option into blue's city part there, but also splitter is still there, so maybe not. Well, splitter wouldn't be ideal, of course, as you'd give blue the more valuable city part. Yeah, well, why not? That's definitely a good approach, leaving only one dagger for blue city to be completed, and in that case, for a net 0-point move, 3 points for blue city, 3 points for yellow's field, but getting second meeple back might be all blue needs in that case. So blue claims the road up top, immediately closes this to get a meeple back. They don't need to care about this one, so indirect defense here doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, blue tied the field up top. It's worth 9 points now. Again, yellow could protect their connection or could basically kill this city, because there is only one starting little tile left. Yeah, they use this option, of course. They don't claim the road now, with only 2 meeples in hand. Indirect protection. But it doesn't work, as yellow just got the tile blue would have needed. And not just killed this, but also claimed a healthy 7 points to basically tie the temporary score. Finally, blue gets to kill yellow's threat of taking over the ruin. Oh, it's not a ruin, actually. It's still it was still a city. Yellow creates a small city there, hoping to, upon completion, attack the shared field. And this then gives blue an easy path to victory. just outdraw your opponent, just draw all caps. Totally simple, right? Too soon. The starting tile still is critical. It's a 5-point move for blue, plus getting a juicy second meeple back, but it's in yellow's hands. And blue's hopes are dwindling rather fast. 4 points are good, but you're still behind. You need to prevent yellow from connecting up top. What I get that claiming this here was the priority, especially as yellow had 2 options. So yellow is at +2, and if they take over the field, they'd be at +11. Blue won't get a meeple back. There's a cap here to be claimed with a rose for 4 points. There is the monastery now to claim these 4 points, and maybe later you'd be able to attack the bottom field for 9, or possibly the top field for 12. Yeah, looks like blue has to go for this. Can't really meeple the monastery now. I hope yellow doesn't go there. That would give blue another option, claiming a city. Yeah, this time yellow goes for a sane move. Doesn't connect city parts, like in the second one. Yeah, blue got the cap they needed. Get another road monastery, but yellow's ruin extension by 5 points is just so juicy that they might even survive blue later attacking this here. There is an option. This here would work. If yellow doesn't do anything about this road and there. Yeah, another 7 points to yellow. 13. And yellow will win this one. At some point, Pavel will know that this is game over here. He might find a chance to still score some points, but in the end, there is no way to score 13 points. The best option actually would have been this attack here. But even in that case, it wouldn't have worked. Just too few points. Yeah, all these blocked meeples, especially the two over here. Plus this one, I mean, it was totally safe when placed. But yellow just outdrew blue by getting all they needed to close the city, create another one, close it, restrict blue. Even the indirect defense didn't do much for blue, as yellow got the dagger, which blue needed. Yeah. So tough luck, actually. Blue had a lot of their meeples stuck. Yellow managed to win two 12-point fields in the end. Also had an 8-point ruin, but the difference is 13 points only. So overall, I think it's not that blue played worse than yellow here in this match. Yeah, but it's Carcassonne. So congratulations to DrCaiHan. Reached the Champions League, at least to my knowledge, for the first time, but I'm not sure about this. Yeah. Happy New Year. Well, yeah, tad late maybe. Not so happy start for Pavel. Wrong direction. Let's take a look. Is there any overview with all qualified players already? This ain't it. And there are still test players in the league stage, and well, then we don't have a at least public site with all registered, all qualified players. So we have the 38 over here, which were able to secure a main stage ticket via mostly national qualifiers, some also being qualified due to, example, winning the World Cup. And then we have the 22 players who won their qualification rounds. So that are Lovia from Portugal, Marti, Argentina, Ekistek, China, Sporta, Portugal, Posey, Czech Republic, Lord Terryclough, UK, Vega Orion, Croatia, DrCaiHan, China, Fanatical Lime, UK, Michaels, Czech Republic, Eldu the Renew from Austria, Matej 11 from Slovakia, Helge H from Sweden, Stefanakis from Greece, Cherry Papa from South Korea, Meeple over People from the Netherlands, Horse from Peru, Asetos from Greece, Luste from Croatia, and who was it? Who won there? MTU from Poland, sorry, and Luste from Croatia had won the consolidated final of Q3, of course. Then we have Phosphate from China and Nalaheim from Finland. These are the 11 times 2, so 22 players who won one of the qualification spots. Well deserved, and at least some of these will quite likely we'll see in the Champions League playoffs, or at least I would expect this. There are quite a lot of strong players, or there were quite a lot of strong players in these qualifications. So next up then will be the Earth and Space League draws. These should happen more or less right now. No, I think this was postponed. I would expect the draw to happen on Saturday, possibly Sunday. I would hope Sergey gets his ducks in a row and manages to draw on Saturday, so folks have a bit of time to organize their first matches, because the league should start on January 5, so next Monday. You should expect me and, of course, Otto and Alexei as well to cover what we can of the league stage and, of course, of the playoffs, but with 60 players, so 30 matches per week. This will become tricky to cover all, even with 3 of us out there, because on average we would need to cover 10 matches per week, plus leave some time to play ourselves, of course. So we'll see how this turns out. For now, thanks for tuning in. There might be some other matches of the Belgian or Ukrainian online championships I might cover, but we'll see about that. Champions League definitely is priority number 1. So what did I say? Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you out there. Bye-bye.